Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's going to be a good show after last night's crazy game.
Yeah. It is time to skip the BS. It is time for Undisputed. But last night, Aaron Rodgers was in the wrong place at the worst time on just the fourth play of his Jets career. Now it's possible that was the last play of his career, period. As Aaron tried to escape from a sack, he pushed hard and awkwardly
it doesn't
off
even
his
look
left
like anything
leg,
happened.
and the Jets feared his Achilles ruptured.
I didn't see that.
It looked like all was lost in the game as the air went right out of Jet Life Stadium, as Aaron calls it, and Zach Wilson began to look like the same high-pick bust he looked like last year.
Well, they didn't have anything for him at all.
13-3 down at halftime, the Jets
You'd be joking if you think they drew up any
plays
plays for Zach Wilson going into that game.
Return in overtime, 23-16. The Jets now head to Dallas with a 1-0 record that might feel more like 0-17 to some Jets fans. I am joined now by my undefeated, undisputed dream team, Richard Sherman, Keyshawn Johnson, and Michael Irvin. We will hit this game from every angle throughout the show, but Richard, you first. You tore your Achilles back in 2017 in Seattle. What was your reaction to what you saw last night?
Devastated, shock for my good friend Robert Saleh, for the Jets team. It's one of the worst injuries you could have, especially in professional sports and in football, because it takes such a long time, not only to heal, but mentally. It's such a journey. It's such an up and down roller coaster of emotions every day, because you don't feel like you have any strength in that leg. You feel kind of numbness from the calf down, and you just got to keep trusting the process, keep believing, keep trusting the process. But it takes at least 6 months before you feel anything close to normal. And for him to play the quarterback position, I mean, he's 38 years old, 39 years old. You know, it's going to be a long road for him to come back, so you just hate to see it. You know, you hate to see all this build-up, the hard knocks, everything he's done, all the hype around the team, the defense.
I mean, that's clearly him rupturing it.
90 seconds, 4 plays. It was heartbreaking.
I'm surprised he's not more distraught on the sideline right there.
The moment it happened, you said, damn. Yeah, I've never had an Achilles injury, but I knew it was something serious. I didn't know if it was an ACL, a broken ankle, something that I've had before. And you could just tell once he stood up and then he laid back down on his back, you're like, oh, yeah, he can't put any weight on that situation. I went through something similar as a player in 1999 when we're coming off an AFC championship game in '98. First game of the year, we're favored, as you remember, as the top dogs going. It's similar to the Jet situation where we are favored by many people to go to the Super Bowl and win it. Vinny Testaverde was our quarterback. He goes down the first game, pops his Achilles against the New England Patriots, and I can only imagine what the teammates was saying, because I know what we said and how I felt as a player looking at this situation. My dreams just went out the window as a Super Bowl, because we're now turning to the backup quarterbacks in this situation. In my press conference, Playmaker, I like, ooh, you see that press conference and listen to it, because we got it right now. You would think, as I look back and reflected, I was really crazy. I was really, really crazy. But we lost our star quarterback due to the Achilles, and my reaction after the game was something special. Run that tape for me.
Nothing you can do. You can't do anything. There's nothing. We can't do. We couldn't throw. We throwing interceptions. It just, man.
But that's how visibly upset.
Well, you look like a young man there.
I was young. But that's that visibly upset that you realize that
he was not happy at all.
Quarterback and all the hard work that you put in and everything that you did in the training camp probably just came to a screeching halt. That just, it was just, you know, I get chills thinking about it, because we were favored to win it all.
It's always the peaks in the valleys. I always say, you know, the team that gets to a Super Bowl are the teams that can handle the valleys, because the valleys are the times that teams come apart. You know, and last night I even tweeted this: the peaks in the valleys for the Jets. You know, the run out on September 11th. You got two teams from New York playing in New York. That was an incredible scene. Aaron Rodgers with the flag.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And those lights were out. That was an incredible scene to start that way. And then just 4 plays in to go through seeing that seeing Aaron Rodgers.
It definitely didn't seem real when it happened.
Wow.
I was kind of like going through a
I
lull the
never
rest of
had
the game, waiting
an
for
Achilles
Aaron
where I was
Rodgers to
playing.
come back.
Certainly had one after I retired, but just the hopes of your team.
There was a lot of confusion as to what it was.
Everybody, the hopes of that
They
whole
just showed that
city
slow-mo
was so
they just
high.
did at the beginning. I
And
would probably
then
said,
the game goes on.
It's probably not coming back.
And you see this great play, and now
At the time, it was just like his ankle.
like, oh, we
It was
still gonna win
potentially
this
his ankle.
game. But every moment I'm thinking, the Jets still gonna win this game. I keep thinking, wow, what would they look like with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
If this defense right here played with Aaron Rodgers, it was incredible to watch, man. It was incredibly sad and incredibly thrilling to watch them then overcome all of that and still beat a Buffalo Bills team that everybody else has in the playoffs except me.
So to me, in my career of watching and studying the game you guys played, I cannot remember, all respect to your 99 team, a team that was more hyped.
Yeah,
You can argue overhyped than this team, and it had a whole lot to do with hard knocks. And I kept saying the hard knocks are about to start for real in this game, and unfortunately they started for all too real on the fourth play of the game. But I want to remind you, Aaron Rodgers has been pretty durable in his career. He went into that game last night having been sacked 530 times in his career. That's the most of any quarterback since he entered the league. Think about that. No quarterback has ever gone down more times and stood up more times and lived to fight another play than this guy. 11 times he played every game for the whole
How many
season.
people have been in the league as much as
that's
Aaron
almost
Rodgers, though?
Jordan asked me, you played a lot of high-level football and took a lot of pounding and lived to tell and to survive and thrive. And yet, here you come out and
I wonder what the numbers were last year when
and
Brady
as
was in
Richard
the
said,
NFL.
I hate the Achilles. It's the most mysterious injury in all the sports. It's the most debilitating injury by far because it's just hard to come back from it. And it usually happens when you're standalone running free. It's usually a non-contact where Richard, how'd you do yours real quick? Do you remember where you just running?
Non-contact.
Non-contact.
I pushed off.
Right.
Yeah. Usually, Dan Marino had one, Randall Cunningham had one, back to my Chicago days, Jim Miller had one. Usually you're just like rolling out of the pocket and you push, you plant and push, just not hard, just push off a little bit, and all of a sudden it's like somebody shot you in the calf. And you look down and you're like, what happened to my leg? My leg won't work anymore because it's a major tendon, and once it goes, it's going to be a long, hard rehab. But this was unusual to me, a la J.K. Dobbins the day before, because usually it doesn't happen when you get trapped with your legs underneath you. When that happens, it's usually your ACL or you break your ankle.
Yeah.
Okay? So he gets trapped a little awkwardly, but remember what happened on the play. Dwayne Brown is supposed to cut block on Leonard Floyd because it's a three-step drop and the ball is supposed to be gone because they're going to quick pass it and get Aaron into some rhythm with the young receiver, just try to get something going. And he hadn't completed. He completed the one pass, and it was a penalty, obviously, so it canceled that out. Yep. And yet on this one, he holds the ball, and Dwayne Brown tries to cut block and got him just for a second, which is all you should need to get him. And all of a sudden, Leonard Floyd said after the game, I kept going and going, and I'm thinking, yeah, hang on to it, Aaron. And for whatever reason, Aaron did not like what he saw. And all of a sudden, as Floyd is ripping him down, his leg is caught underneath, and he tries to push off free. Remember, he had a calf issue in the offseason. Remember, in the OTAs, he had a calf issue. Usually, if you have a calf issue, it will weaken the Achilles tendon. Remember Kevin Durant in the finals? He tried to come back too soon off a calf. And what happened? Kaboom, it went in the finals. And what happened to Aaron?
More pressure
Boom.
on the Achilles.
Yes.
It puts more pressure because the calf.
Yeah.
You know, the crazy thing about just the Jets in general, it's almost like
It's
they're
just such a bad
snake
injury.
at that position.
I totally agree.
You know,
The world doesn't deserve this right now.
Pops his calf in warm-ups at the beginning of the year. Then
Needs to
Vinny
rewind
tears
24
his in
hours and
99,
just do that game over
2006.
again.
Chad Pennington tears his rotator cuff as the Jets are getting something going. Mark Sanchez labrum tore in preseason in 2013. Now you're dealing with Aaron Rodgers. And in between, there's been other injuries at that quarterback position for the New York Jets. It's a mind-boggling thing to think that every guy that comes in there that's supposed to uplift the position and be the guy goes down with injuries.
Yeah, and you know, Skip, you said a couple of things, Skip. Skip, you said it was overhyped. I understand it was hyped a lot. But when I saw what happened on the football field, that defense on that football field, and we ain't talking about this, and I'm going to talk about this. Hall is a different that's a different dude. Hall is to come back and run like he ran last night off of an injury. That's a different dude.
You know, he would have scored that touchdown.
That's what I'm saying. If
Garrett Wilson do the damn
if he wasn't doing all this here, he's throwing his hand.
Okay, I couldn't believe that people on social media did not see that. They were saying, oh, if you look at Garrett Wilson, he's putting up both his arms, he couldn't reach him.
With that
Go look at the video. Garrett Wilson had like 15 seconds he could have tackled that guy.
Right. That team would have.
It was so obvious live that he could have just made that tackle. Hall would have scored.
They would have been great. I call it hype right. They were hype right.
Yeah, they were. The hype was right on, and that defense we talked.
Yeah, I
about
mean Aaron Rodgers in that game. Nobody knows how he's doing, but like
this was supposed to be Josh
They won
Allen.
with that.
You know, another year of him. You know, dismantling, but he didn't play.
I knew
as
the
well
Jets would win
last
this
year
game. I just didn't think
the New York Jets. He
he'd
didn't
be
play
without
well
Aaron Rodgers, obviously.
Again last night. He lost to Zach Wilson last season. Even with all his struggles and everything going on, Zach Wilson was able to beat the Buffalo Bills. And this Buffalo Bills team, if Josh Allen continues to throw those interceptions on deep balls where he's saying, hey, I'm better than you, my guys are better than you, and throwing into double coverage, they're going to continue to struggle. But the Jets are who you thought they were. They're great in the secondary. Jordan Whitehead had an incredible game. They had multiple sacks from Jefferson. Quinnen Williams putting pressure all over the place. Jermaine Johnson.
Josh Allen throwing way too many
They
deep
had
balls.
5 sacks. They had 3 picks from one guy.
Inaccurate or?
They got a fumble recovery that Josh Allen wanted to get fancy. He, instead of just letting the play dive on the ball, let the play die. He wants to continue to try to make big plays. He's got 88 turnovers this year. 88 turnovers since he came into the league. That's the most.
That's the most.
88.
Yep.
Number, but a bad place.
And he got 20 since the season started last year. He had 17 during the season, led the league, and then he had 3 in the playoffs. So it's like they have a bigger problem, but it was really cool to see this Jets defense be who they said they were. They wanted to compare themselves to the 85 Bears, to the Legion of Boom, and for that first showing, they looked dang good.
No, they did, Skip.
Can we get to that Josh Allen?
A lot. What'd you say?
That Josh Allen stuff. We need to be talking about Josh Allen.
Well, I think
Go ahead.
I was about to tee it up for you and
go
let
ahead,
you
go
knock
ahead.
it off,
Yeah.
knock it off the tee.
That was bad.
When you think about it, you
I don't know what was
give all the
bad,
credit
that
to the
or worse,
defense,
that or
there's no
Joe
question
Burrow.
about it, because they forced him into certain situations. And one thing for sure is Josh Allen's been somewhat of what I like to call propped up in a lot of yeast on his ability of who he is.
Agreed.
He's been a good quarterback in the National Football League. They went out and got Stephon Diggs. He turned into something different once he got one of those alpha wide receivers. But he misses Brian Daboll 100%. 100% he does. A lot of people don't realize that when you have a coordinator that you are comfortable with, and I know this is his second year working with Ken Dorsey, but when you have someone that's been with you, that has taught you, and that voice is in your ear calling certain plays, and they know what you like, you become something different. When they take that away from you, now all of a sudden you get into bad habits, you get into bad things, and this is Josh Allen. He's a turnover machine. He is not as propped up as most people want him to be. Okay, he was on the front cover of EA Sports this year, which says that you are the second coming of something. He was supposed to be the kryptonite to Patrick Mahomes,
You only
but
have to
that's
use
over with
EA
now. It's now Joe
terms for
Burrow.
for
And so
FIFA
as
now.
you start to look at, if you start to look at Josh Allen and where he's at, he becomes more of a liability at times for the Buffalo Bills. We don't talk about him and his deficiencies nearly the way we do about some of these other quarterbacks in the National Football League.
May I interrupt real quick?
Yeah, you go ahead.
I do, and I have. I have said this now for a year on this show. There is something missing in Josh Allen. We see the arm, we see the legs, we see 6 feet 5 inches, 240 pounds. But I'm to the point now, I think he runs it better than he throws it, because when he takes off, he's athletic, and he is a daredevil to a fault, because he's not going to last very long trying to do the things that he does in this league.
He took some wicked shots last night.
He did.
Yeah.
But the point is, if you look back at last year, against
A couple of them, he
Zach
just dropped
Wilson
his
in
shoulder,
that
and then he
game,
got
that
like
was
stopped
horrendous.
this place.
If you
And it's
look
just
back
like,
at
geez, dude.
Miami at home in the
You
playoffs,
get hurt on one of these.
and then Joe Burrow at home in the playoffs, he played poorly in both those home games, as if something were missing. are he and Diggs not quite on the same page? Are they kind of at each other? I don't know.
Diggs looked good last night.
Last night he looked lost. And by
Josh,
the way, I
Josh
cannot
Allen overall
remember
looked
a
bad,
game that should have been closed by a quarterback like that one last night. That wasn't. He was the reason. He owned it after the game. He said, I was the reason, because he was.
It's in your front of your face. Mike, how could you not own it?
He didn't say I didn't just own it. He said I was the reason.
Yeah.
Again.
Okay.
Again. Now, I appreciate you stepping up here and saying it, and that you were the reason again. But now, I'm going to tell you guys something. I'm the 15th of 17 kids, right? And 15, 17. I remember I got my first bicycle. What are you talking about, G? I got my first bicycle. I got my first bicycle. It was the bicycle that my cousin John Jr. had down the street for 5 years. But it was a different color bicycle. I thought it was his bicycle, and they were just giving me his bicycle, but they had painted it. But John bike has some rust in this one spot. And they just painted over the rust, you see. And I knew sooner or later, I'm riding that bike, we were in the rain, that rust came back. I knew there wasn't no new bike. They lied to me. They lied. I was just a kid. They lied to me. But I didn't care. I had nothing. I was happy. I knew, and this is why I took the Buffalo Bills out of the playoffs. I knew something had been going on in Buffalo. And whatever they did, you can't paint over that rust.
No.
To get rid of that rust, you got to sand it down, then paint it. See, my people didn't know that. They thought they could just fool me. They painted over the rust. They thought they could just paint over the rust. We're fine. Everything's cool with Diggs.
What an analogy.
When he threw them balls down there, them deep balls, I said, there's something going on. Now he's trying to satisfy Diggs because there's no way he should have thrown the balls. And another problem I have with Diggs and his head coach, because I know darn well Troy Aikman will bust me in the mouth every time I'm seeing, cameras on you all day. I keep seeing Diggs in the head coach. Look at the quarterback saying, stop telling that man, be smart, be smart, be smart, because you're telling everybody else, he's dumb, he's dumb, he's dumb. Stop doing that.
Good point.
Stop doing
He
that.
is.
Yeah.
Troy would call me in a room and hit me in my mouth, and I would say, thank you, Troy, you're right, you should have done that. Stop doing that to this man. Stop messing with his confidence. Let's just go quietly and say, hey, keep making smart plays. Stop letting the world see by doing that. I'm just saying, I had an issue with that.
Playmaker. These are human beings, Playmaker, and he keep doing this, Diggs gonna find himself a new home and a new quarterback because he is making these kind of decisions. Diggs already talked about it in the offseason. There were rumbles, there were whispers about him being unhappy.
I didn't say any of this be smart stuff. That's crazy.
But right now, he is our quarterback. He must lead us. And I don't want you telling the whole world that he is not me. I want you to go talk to him in a better way and handle that differently. I don't want you saying that to the whole world.
I know.
I need him more than anybody. I need his head in the right place more than anybody. I can't have you doing that. I'm going to have to say something to you. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so there's rust in Buffalo.
It's
and
true.
That's a city where
why would you tell him to be
rust,
smart
right?
on camera? Like, obviously, this is going to run away
You're
like
up
this. I didn't even see this live.
Over a team that's just dead in the water. It just
Or put the two and two
all
together.
is lost. The whole stadium, the air has gone out of the stadium. And he continued to throw 2 more picks and lose a fumble in the second half. Could we just quickly, I think we have them all together, could we see the 4 turnovers just so we can all comment briefly on each one? It's the first
like
one.
3 deep balls and a
This
fucking...
This is a pass and a
world,
prayer.
coulda ran for the first.
I'm just going to throw it up and hope. Oh, I think I threw it to Jordan Whitehead. And another, I'm going to just wing it down the middle, and it's double covered, and you threw it to the wrong jersey, right?
See, I didn't have a problem with the
He's
first
throwing it to the same guy, at least.
that one right there. You got to see that.
Yeah, and here we go. And he loses the ball, and he's going to play hero, just going to play hero.
Fall down on it.
Yeah.
You see, the first one I didn't have a problem with, Skip.
Yeah.
Because he probably, now that Richard said it, at the time of the game, I didn't see that he probably could have gotten it.
Yeah.
But it was 3rd and 1,000,000. He threw it up. It's like a punt, pinned them deep. So I really wasn't on him about that. And if he came to me and he said, I was just throwing it away because I couldn't get the first, I just wanted to throw it away, we was going to have to punt the next time, I give him a little, I probably would have said.
So you're saying he intended for it to be picked?
No. What I'm saying is he was giving the guy an opportunity on a 3rd and long, so it basically turns into a punt inside the 10-yard line at that point in time. That's kind of the way I looked at it. But Richard just said he could have ran for it, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, he probably could have got there.
Right on that left side. When he rolled out, it was only one guy back.
Could he?
And the way he runs, he could have run for it because it'd have been maybe a yard. You lower your boom, you could have gotten.
But a lot of times, a lot of things, as y'all know, it's going so fast out there, man. Things are flashing in front of you. So, you know, regardless, he turns the damn ball over too much.
But
that was crazy last night.
My problem with it was
this week one has been horrendous for the most part with quarterbacks.
If you got middle field closed, the safety's deep.
I mean, besides like Tua,
another opening. There's another safety valve somewhere. Like I got to look at the tape, but there's somebody sitting there wide open because middle
name any
field
other ones that had a great
safety valve.
week one
middle
performance.
Field open, bomb them. Middle field closed, safety valve. And for him to continually make the read and see Jordan Whitehead back there and say, he's not very good. I'm going to throw it. And then for him to get you once and then get you twice and you to see him on the third time and say, I don't think he's going to get this one. Like, that is,
three times is crazy.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. He's not going to get different results. So are we going insane? Are the Buffalo Bills going insane? Because they're starting to do the same things over and over with Josh Allen and expect different results. He led the league in interceptions last year. He's starting this year off with 3 against a very good Jets defense. But in this division, you fall behind early. Season's over. Quit.
Yeah, he fumbled the ball twice, too, by the way. He lost one and recovered one. So
he is a fumbling machine.
Yeah. A lot of the times it's because he's trying to do too much. When you are that big and that nimble, you feel like I am bigger than the defensive lineman, linebackers.
Absolutely.
I can take advantage of them. I don't mind the third wave of defenders in terms of the secondary. You can challenge them.
Remember, Josh Allen's bigger than you are.
That's what I'm saying. When you start messing around with them big dudes in that front seven, you need to get your butt down, man. I need you to live another day. I don't need you to be a hero in this situation.
He might be bigger than them DBs, but he ain't heavier than that ground. And there's no need for him to be trying to jump over DBs because that ground is waiting on him.
He ain't heavier than that ground to get thrown on the ground by those big 300-pound linemen.
No slide. Don't even run over the DBs.
No, that's true, too.
Right.
I do think because it was opening Monday Night Football, and it was the Jets, and he has stunk at the Jets before, that the pressure actually increased on Josh Allen. After Aaron went out, he's like, I got to do this now because this is a gimme, right?
I'm sure.
We're about to face this with our quarterback in Dallas. It should be a gimme, right? You got to live up. You got to take care of business.
And now we somehow slid the Cowboys in.
Well, they're coming.
Well, because the Jets are playing the
Cowboys. He should have been able to play a more subtle game and just hand this ball off.
Skip's tweet last night.
That's
It's like the two quarterbacks suck. The Jets and the Cowboys, and the defenses are so good next week. It's going to be a 6-3 game.
I was just saying, you know, coaches that I've been around for the most part, the Bill Parcells of the world, they wouldn't let that dude turn the ball over 4 times, man.
And do
they just
what?
Wouldn't do
Yank him or
they just wouldn't. Jimmy Johnson not letting Troy Aikman just turn it over like that.
Right.
You know, they going to get him under control by running the football, putting him in a position. You know, I've watched Parcells bench quarterbacks for making mistakes. He didn't give a damn who they were. And so when I'm looking at it in this day and age, it's like because we gave you all this money, we're not allowed to tell you, say, man, what are you doing?
Good point. Remember, you can respond to us right now. You can hit us up at
I cannot believe Aaron Rodgers went down. That is insane. That is the only thing that could not have happened last night.
Was Garrett Wilson's fourth quarter TD grab.
Are they going to go all in and try and get another quarterback? Is Brady coming out of retirement?